Good evening and welcome to Speedway Town Council meeting. I call our December 9, 2019 meeting to order at 7 p.m. My name's Eileen Fisher and I'm President of Speedway Town Council. Others in attendance this evening from right to left, I have Councilor David Lindsay.
Good evening.
I have Vice President Jeff Matthews.
Good evening.
I have Councilor Gary Rakes.
Good evening.
Councilor Jason Delisle.
Good evening.
Town Manager Jacob Blaisdell.
Good evening.
Clerk Treasurer Monty Combs.
Hello.
And Town Attorney Bob Clutter.
Howdy do.
If everyone would stand this evening, we'll do our pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the approval for the minutes of our last council meeting that was held November 11, 2019. Any changes on those minutes? Seeing none, those minutes have been approved. On to Ordinance 1322. This is an ordinance establishing jobs and salaries to be paid on our current office positions and jobs within the town of Speedway for year 2020. First reading. Jacob?
Yep. Thank you, Madam President. So this is the salary ordinance that we pass annually that lays out salaries and compensation. The salary ordinance provides compensation for the agreement that we have with the police and fire union. Also provides for a 2% cost of living increase for town employees. And it also provides for some incentives to obtain and maintain various licenses that we need in our public utilities that are required and kind of come along with increasing regulations and those sorts of things that we have from the state and the federal level. So we would ask for your approval.
Madam President, I move that we approve Ordinance 1322 on first reading.
Second.
First and a second for Ordinance 1322. At this time, we'll open for public comments. Seeing no public comments, any questions from councilors?
Madam President, I'd just like to, as I do every year when we approve this, well, I assume we're going to approve this tonight. This does not include an increase for the council. That's all I have.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of approving Ordinance 1322, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, approved 5-0. Next is a public hearing regarding the appropriation of additional funds. Jacob?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and explain this before you open up the public hearing. So this is an appropriation for additional funds. These are funds that are related to the town hall project and the town headquarters renovation project. This covers various expenses that we've incurred for the project, things like design, building inspections, environmental work. And this is an appropriation to pay those people for the work that they've done. Provides an appropriation. We did need to provide legal notice of this, which we did on November 27th. And so part of this process of changing the budget is to have a public hearing and then request passage of a resolution by council.
So at this time, I'll open the public hearing at 7:03. Take any public comments? Seeing no public comments, any questions from councilors on this hearing? We'll close the hearing then at 7:04. And we'll move on then to the resolution for 2019-15. And this was the resolution in regards to the appropriation of the additional funds.
Maybe a comment, and maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, that a lot of these funds can be reimbursed by any bond proceeds that would occur in the future. This is just to make the appropriation to cover these capital expenses.
Okay. Any public comments for Resolution 2019-15? Oh, I guess we need to make a motion.
I'll move that we
I'm sorry.
approve, yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2019-15.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Now we'll take public comments. Seeing no public comments, any questions from councilors?
Not a question, just a comment. This is in line with the expectations we had in terms of these expenses. So that's why we didn't necessarily ask questions earlier. These are what we expected.
Correct.
Other comments? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 2019-15, resolution regarding the appropriation of additional funds, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approved 5-0. Next is the approval of agreements for the demolition for services with Delta Services, and this is for performance on 5300 Crawfordsville Road. Jacob?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So there have been a lot of conversations in these meetings, from environmental work and contracts to buy the building, some of which, you approve some of these contracts that the expenditures for these costs that we've incurred for this project. There's been a lot of different public meetings regarding this, from council, redevelopment commission, redevelopment authority, 6 public meetings in total. My point is, we've done a lot of talking about this, and the building's kind of set there. And I know you've gotten questions and I've gotten questions, but there's a lot of processes that go into large public projects like this. And I say all that because I'm happy to say that this agreement will actually do something tangible to the building. We're finally getting to that point where you're actually going to see some work starting to get done. This starts with the demolition and remediation. So we're the east side of the building. It's actually 2 buildings. You look at it, the east side has some asbestos in it. We need to remediate that, get that out of there. This also does some of the kind of removing any walls that we're kind of getting rid of. And also, there's a lot of furniture in the building that we were able to negotiate in a contract to keep, and this contract moves that and kind of puts it in storage so we can reuse it when the day comes that we have a new building, renovated building, and are able to move in. So the contract does a lot, and like I said, it's actual tangible work, and so with your approval, we will get that started.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Delta Services.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Take any public comments on this agreement? Seeing no public comments, any questions from counselors?
Just a comment, I'd like to, Jacob, I don't know how much you could, I think you've mentioned all the meetings we've had, but there's also been like a subcommittee that has worked on this project since day one. That's done a lot of work and a lot of homework, and I want to thank them. If you could name who all's on that, I don't know if you could do that for the work kind of behind the scenes they've done to make this project move forward. Now we're going to see work being done, which is, I think, an exciting thing for the town.
Yeah, so Councilor Matthews, Councilor Fisher, Lonnie Combs, our clerk treasurer, myself, Chief Campbell, Tim Gropp, we'll put him on there too. I'm trying to think of the others. You're going to put me on the spot here. Yes, Superintendent Trebley, because there's a portion there for the schools to have some office space. And then, really, a lot of folks from the police department have been assisting and coming to a lot of those meetings to kind of work out what the appropriate layout's going to be. Would you say, Chief Fishburne?
Rob? Wetline in any of those, or Wendell?
Wendell did some help with it, Rob some kind of consulting on it. So it's been, and really just asking like all of my staff and the police department, trying to think about the best way we can utilize this space.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Sorry,
But I think it's important that we know that there's been a lot of work done on it, not behind the scenes, because we're bringing it forward, but a lot of thoughts gone in to the building, and it's good to see this first step in many that's going to be coming forward.
Okay, no other further questions or comments. We'll go ahead and take a vote on the approval of the agreements for the demolition with Delta Service. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, approved 5-0. Next is the appointments for Speedway boards and commissions. We will only be doing 4 of those this evening. Those will be done for Redevelopment Commission, Police Commission, School Board, and Board of Zoning Appeals. So we'll start with the first one for redevelopment.
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Jennifer Miller.
I'd like to nominate Gordon Rundle.
I'll nominate Rhonda Schwartz, Brody Duncan, and Tom Popcheff.
There's some that have to be appointed
One
by
is, yeah.
Well,
Oh, I see, that is right, yeah. So is Gordon, according to those. So let me, how about I'll nominate Rhonda Schwartz and Tom Popcheff.
Okay, so at the moment, we have for redevelopment, Rhonda Schwartz, Jennifer Miller, and Tom Popcheff. Any other nominees?
How many names is that? 4?
3.
It's 3.
So the other 2 will be president,
Okay.
and then 1 is the school board.
Okay. Madam President, I move that nominations be closed.
Okay,
Second.
We have a first and a second to close nominations. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of approving Rhonda, Jennifer, and Tom to redevelopment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, 5-0. And as the council president, I'll nominate Brody Duncan and Gordon Rundle. So we have a full board and commissions on redevelopment. Next is Police Commission, and we just have one that is expired this year.
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Phil Smith, the Police Commission.
Madam President, I'd like to close nominations.
second.
First and a second, closing nominations for Police Commission. We'll go ahead and take a vote for Phil Smith being reappointed to Police Commission. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Approved 5-0. Next, we'll do school boards. Again, just one on that.
I would nominate Laura DeGay.
Madam President, I move that nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay, we have closings for school board with the reappointment of Laura DeGay back to school boards. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approved 5-0. And then last for board and zoning appeals, and we have 2 on this one to be reappointed. The other one is done by Indiana DMD. So,
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Mike Simonson.
And I will nominate Tyler Carmichael.
any other nominations?
I move that we close nominations.
Second.
Okay, we have first and a second on closing nominations. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of approving Mike Simonson and Tyler Carmichael to BZA, say aye.
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 Those opposed, 5-0 for Michael and Tyler. And that takes care of the boards and commissions for this meeting. Next, we do want to go ahead and the meeting dates for the boards and commissions for 2020 have been posted by your office?
They'll be posted after you all
Okay,
approve
after
them.
we approve it then.
There are minor changes. The CDC meets on Tuesdays now instead of Thursdays. Transportation Committee meets at the Town Annex office rather than here. And then the Cable Commission meets now at 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. So those changes are reflected. I'll also mention that each board and commission has the ability to adjust that meeting schedule in the public meetings that they have at their prerogative. But this at least kind of sets the initial kind of calendar for 2020.
We need a motion to
Approvals?
approve that.
Yeah.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the calendar for the meeting of boards and commissions for the year 2020.
A second.
Okay, a first and a second. Any public comments in regards to the meetings that are posted, or they're not posted yet? Changes that Jacob talked about. All right, questions from counselors? We'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of approving the meetings and boards commissions for 2020, say aye.
Aye.
Next is the approvals for claims and utility adjustments. Monty.
Thank you. Submitted the claims for the time of November the 9th through December the 6th. It's quite a bit on here, and business as usual, and I would appreciate your approval.
Madam President, I move that we approve the claims as presented for 11/9 through 12/6.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any public comments on the claims? Seeing none, any questions from counselors? Take a vote. All those in favor of approving the claims as presented to us, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims approved 5-0. Adjustments?
Yes, the utility adjustments are for the same period of time, from 13th of November to December 6th, total of $991.50 of the adjustments that were made. Most of those are on leaks, severe leaks on a couple of people, so appreciate your approval there.
Madam President, I move that we approve the utility adjustments as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second for the adjustments presented to us. Any public comments? Seeing none, any questions or comments from counselors? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of approving the adjustments, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Adjustments approved 5-0. Anything else for us, Monty?
No, I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll do department heads. We'll start with Tim Gropp, Economic Developer.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for the reappointment of the Redevelopment Commission members this evening. They've been wonderful to work with, and we look forward to another productive year. Except for I didn't realize that Jennifer was a Green Bay Packer fan, so should probably be brought into consideration in the future. As far as updates from around town, there's actually a lot going on, and we're really close to getting a couple projects kicking off here. So real quick, the Gilman Street, the Able Motorsports building is completely under roof at this point. They're pouring concrete. They have a little pavement down. We're hoping that they can be completed and have their first build-outs end of March, 1st of April. So there's a lot of interest in that building as well. So everything seems to be in line and moving forward. 1300 block demo is still scheduled to happen soon, probably at this point in January for the Auto Tech building. They're waiting on some final approvals and timelines from IPL to do some electrical work before they can move forward on that. But our hope is to have that demolition done early next year. We'll also be removing, there's a storage shed in the back. We're looking into moving that and still utilizing it. It's in really good shape, so we're working through the logistics of that as well. And hopefully we'll start seeing incremental progress. There's a lot of interest in that block, so we're anxious to work out the details of the final agreement so we can break ground early in 2020. On that redevelopment as well. The big one that we've been working diligently on, there's just a lot of moving parts, and it's been a really complicated project, is 2500 High School. I think we're right on the fringe of getting everything lined up and ready to go there. So our big hang-up, as I've mentioned several times, is negotiating out a deal to either land swap or buy out Circle K. They own the two gas stations there on High School Road. I think we can get that signed and completed this week. Tomorrow we have a meeting to kind of go through all the final closing documents and understanding, because this has dragged on longer than we all anticipated. A lot of the work that we anticipated doing once we signed the documents has already been completed or underway. So we've adjusted our funding agreement to reflect that accordingly. We're hoping to close here in the next week with the developer. As soon as the Circle K documents are signed, we have our contractor lined up, and we'll start permitting and everything. Hopefully we can be on site with equipment. Probably at this point, just with the holidays, it's kind of unfortunate timing to have to start this. But if all works out well, we'll have some equipment on site early January and ready to go from there. We'll be closing on the bond as well as soon as we close on the property, which we're hoping all that lines up for next week. So positive news, we're working right now with, we have several potential tenants out there that are doing due diligence. We really hope to have some announcements on who they are in the next month or so. I think the community will be excited, and we'll keep you posted, and we'll let you know as soon as we can. So, and then on the Wilshaw, we continue to work with the developer and get updates as far as what their progress is, if there is progress. They seem to be taking appropriate steps to correct any of the current items that are still outstanding. We're, on our end, we're continuing to meet internally to make sure that we're in line with the economic development agreement, and all notifications and notices are being sent out from our end as soon as those dates happen so that we're in complete compliance. We're hoping that they're close to having everything resolved, and we'll be, again, kind of unfortunate timing here at the end of the month, but holidays, but we're hoping if they get everything worked out that they'll be back up and working first thing next year after this delay. We'll keep you posted if we get any additional information. We don't have anything at this time, other than there's been some positive meetings on the developer side to get to a resolution. So, any other questions?
Thanks, Tim.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Next is Police Chief Jim Campbell.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank you for reappointing Phil Smith, who is a very dedicated member of our commission, and we do appreciate that. Secondly, I'd like to make a public announcement that today we promoted Lieutenant Sam Alexander to the rank of captain. Sam will be the operations captain for the department. 26 years on the department, pretty much you name it, and he's done it. So we're looking forward to Sam and, kind of get that position back in place. The last one is, every time tis the season that, we usually put out safety tips and guidelines, but, those go out everywhere. I realize that, but, I just can't say enough that, it's a neat time of year and with Christmas and the holidays, but, there are people that take advantage of that. And we encourage folks to keep that in mind when you're shopping or parking your car or, putting gifts or things inside your car. We have had some instance of, I guess they call them package pirates. But incredibly, our guys do address a lot of runs on suspicious activity if, neighbors recognize that, somebody's walking around that looks suspicious, and, I encourage people to do that. So with that, since we probably won't be at the next meeting, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next is Fire Chief Bob Fishburne.
I can't be shorter than that.
Yes, you can.
Good evening. Just a couple of things. Wanted to inform you that we did receive the grant from Marathon, $7,000 grant that'll help assist us in purchasing some 5-inch hose and some things that we utilize for several of our corporate partners, but we also use them, within the town. Met with Ken Hall today. He is now director of the ESEC, which is where we do our training. It's what you know as probably the Wayne Tower. And we're renewing our contract to be able to help with our ISO rating by having a contract with a certified training facility. It's a $2,500 a year out of our training budget. It's a great contract, and our guys get a lot of use out of that. We only get 6 trainings over there a year if it's just us. If we train with Wayne or IFD, that doesn't count as one of our sessions. So we're over there 2 or 3 times a month now for $2,500 a year. It's great. And it's also good to have Ken heading that up. I mean, he knows us, works with us well, and all of those things. So, and the safety tips, we probably don't have to worry much about package pirates, but Christmas trees, old lights, space heaters, all those things that you're getting out right now around Christmas, just kind of be diligent in watering your tree so that it's not a fire hazard, keeping things away from that, and just stay safe in your homes. So, and it is going to be my last meeting this month, but I know tonight's the last time I'll get to see Jason and Jeff as council members, and so the department just wanted to get you a parting gift, and so we got you commemorative badges.
Oh, cool.
Don't misuse them, or Chief Campbell will take them away from you. And it is says Town Council. It's our 100th commemorative badge. It's got your initials down where the badge number would go. It's just our way of saying thanks for serving on the Town Council and working with us so closely. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Will this get us right on the ladder?
It gets you riding a police car if you misuse it.
Thank you.
And yeah, you can come by any time for a ride on the ladder.
All right. Thanks, Chief.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next is Park and Rec, Tammy Smith.
Good evening. Our basketball's going strong. Our third, fourth grade boys and our girls PYL leagues are both winding down this weekend. And our fifth, sixth grade boys, we had their first games this last Saturday. We had 3 games, all went smooth, well, they played well, it was a lot of fun. So we look forward to a continued great season with the fifth, sixth grade boys. Yesterday, we had an event at Sunshine Bowling Center. We want to thank them for offering the town of Speedway such a great deal with the Parks Department. I found out that they were full. I was there the first 2 hours, and they filled up the lanes within 45 minutes, and they were full all day long from open to close. So they were very happy with that, and the residents seemed to have a really good time. And that's really all I got, other than happy holidays to everybody. Any questions?
Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks.
And then the Public Works, Jacob?
Yes, thank you. I'll start with Water Department. They have a kind of impromptu, fairly significant project coming up here this week. There's a leaky valve. You might have noticed it on Cunningham and about Cunningham and 18th. It's fortunately leaking into the drain there, but we're going to be keeping an eye to make sure it's salted and doesn't freeze over. So it's a bad valve that we need to replace, and unfortunately, it's not the kind of thing you get in and get out of in a couple of hours. We're going to have to open up the street to get that exposed. That work will probably start on Wednesday. We'll be making repairs and should have it finished up by Friday if everything goes according to plan. But look for some lane restrictions as that kind of work is being done. Also, water, we've ended the surface water treatment operations for the winter, so we're doing inspections there on the drinking water plant. Wastewater has completed a SCADA upgrade to its systems, which is kind of basically the information system that monitors the plant, and then also is reporting no permit violations for the month of November or any combined sewer overflows. And then in the street department, they've switched over to winter operations, which unfortunately means that yard waste pickup has ended. But I do want to mention that if you have yard waste, you can drop it off at our street department. During business hours, the gate will be open. You can drop it into the yard waste truck. It looks like just a standard big garbage truck, but you can put yard waste in that. And then also we'll be doing the Christmas tree pickup again the first full week of January, which will be the 7th, 8th, and 9th. That is weather permitting, so if there's a winter event going on, we might have to delay doing that just because we'll have drivers out then working as many hours as they're allowed to work. But if you take all of your lights and ornaments and everything off of it and put it out front on one of those days, we'll pick it up. And if weather is an issue, we'll be getting information out by email, social media, either way. And by we will, I mean Kelly will be getting that information out by email and social media, so people can kind of know what we're going to be doing there. And that's what I have for Public Works.
All right, thank you. So, any questions for him on that? Next is your report.
Keep the
then.
floor?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Good news. Janice McHenry got this out as well, but the Dandy Trail Bridge is now open. The project's not in Speedway, but there was a lot of traffic kind of going through on High School Road as a result of that project, so we're glad that that's open. I think it was from April until just last week. So major project, and we're glad it's wrapped up. And then my other is kind of a unique update. There's been reports of an elf running around the town of Speedway, and actually he's here in the front row, sitting there. I don't know if we can. So he's been like playing basketball, and he was playing on the playground. He went bowling at the parks event. So just, if you're around town, just be careful, because, if you're misbehaving, he will report it back to Santa. So just be good all throughout town. That's my advice, always, but certainly until Christmas. You can follow him and his adventures on Facebook. If you just look for Speedy Elf, you can find him, or you can find him at facebook.com/speedy.elf. He created a Facebook page, and you can kind of follow his adventures through town. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Jacob, sorry to ruin I don't know if he wants some time to speak or not, but I think we'll
He's
probably.
pretty quiet.
Okay.
I mean, right now while we're here. Yeah.
The relining of Crawfordsville Road, I know we spoke about that, so the public knows why that's not been done yet. Could you mention that, please?
Yeah, so everybody thought that it was going to be part of the Crawfordsville repaving project with all the lanes, and then they kind of finished that up and didn't do the relaning and to be clear, we're talking about westbound Crawfordsville as you approach High School Road intersection. So the idea is that we're going to actually add a lane. For those that go through there a lot, you've probably already noticed that people kind of utilize that shoulder space to get around anyway. And so there's a lot of excess space. We're going to be able to add a lane and make that right lane a dedicated right turn lane, but keep the lane that currently is right or straight and make that a dedicated straight only lane. Unfortunately, the temperatures dropped before they could come back and do that with the, and you probably noticed it on Crawfordsville Road, but they kind of grind out a little section and then which lasts longer. But to do that process, they need the temperatures, I think it's like about mid-50s and rising to do that. And if we get that day, they'll be out to do it. Probably not going to happen though, at least until through this winter. So we'll be doing that, seeing that done in the spring. But that's still on the project list. DPW is still going to do it. Just didn't have a chance to do it this season yet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. That leaves the councilors' reports. We'll start with Jason Doyle.
Oh, yes. So just a couple things tonight. I did want to say thank you to a couple people. Chief Fishburne, Chief Campbell, thank you for all you guys do for the town. Jacob as well. My fellow counselors and Speedy, our elf. Just want to thank all you guys. It's been great working with all of you, and thanks for everything you guys do for the town. Also want to say good luck to Vince and Dan. I'm sure you will enjoy your time up here. Couple other things too, just real quick. I just really enjoyed my time serving the town as a town councilor. So thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to staying involved in the town going forward. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Next is Councilor Gary Rakes.
I thought I was going to be able to escape Speedy the Elf after you went to Jason, but it wasn't. Just a couple things. It's heavy trash week. If you're like me, you probably started cleaning the garage out to try and get your vehicles in the garage. So this is heavy trash week for those that maybe have a couple things that need to go out. And I want to simply say thank you to Jason and to Jeff for years of service and excellent work. We didn't always agree on everything, which I think is not necessarily bad. But I appreciate the years of service that you've put in and look forward to seeing you stay connected. That's it.
Thank you, Gary. Next is Councilor David Lindsay.
I also would like to thank Jason and Jeff for their service. I was going to write a big, long speech for both of them, but we all know how long my speeches are. So thank you both for your service. Jeff, I mean, nothing towards Jason on this, but Jeff and I built a very strong friendship over these last 4 years, and just the work he's done for the town and the phone calls daily. We're going to miss him. Appreciate your help. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And we have Vice President Jeff Matthews.
Well, I had some colorful things that I was going to say, but I've got this elf sitting right in front of me, so I can't say that. But thank you very much for 5 great years. It's been a privilege. I am actually going to miss it. Mostly it's been a pleasure, mostly. But thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all out here. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. At this time, I want to, Jacob, you have?
Yes. They're not as cool as badges. I got shown up there, but we do have small tokens of the town's appreciation, just kind of commemorating the dates, the years that you've spent here, and certainly appreciate all the work and dedication that you guys have had to our community. It has not gone unnoticed. This, I'll do this.
Oh.
I'll do that.
Oh,
There
thank you.
go.
Thank
Yep,
you.
yep. All right.
So with that, I too would like to thank both Jason and Jeff for their time vested into the town, ideas brought to us over the years, your hard work and efforts and phone calls and meetings. So we will definitely be looking and reaching out to both of you to stay involved in, we got some board commissions to fill too. But thank you for that. To our department heads, thank you, and have a very safe holiday season. And with that, I adjourn the meeting at 7:35.